All right, we have a status update on the Pride of the Julesworks internship program. Nikolai Peterson is not going to be with us for the rest of the show.
Aww.
I think he'll be okay though.
Oh.
He
Gas?
I don't think he would mind if I told you this because I'm also diabetic. He's a type 1 diabetic and he had an attack. So he's got to get that under control, but he'll be okay. So we're going to skip over a couple of skits that he was going to be in, and we'll do those next time. And I believe we're going to have, so we're skipping to the, a Rare Python song. I don't know where Jules found this. It's probably on one of the albums.
Yeah, the dance.
By the way, everyone should applaud for Jules, who had a birthday this month. He's 40. He's 40 ounces.
But he looks 12.
40 ounces of freedom. Are you guys about ready? Rainy Day is going to join Jules for I'm sorry, did I call it a song? It's more of a comedy piece. It may be considered a song, but Rainy Day is going to help out, and I think there's going to be some dancers too. You guys ready?
I'm just gonna put this chair up on the stage and then I'll be done.
Okay.
Sorry.
And thanks to everybody for just letting us wing it.
I'm so worried about what's happening today in the Middle East, you know. And I'm worried about the baggage retrieval system they've got at Heathrow. I'm so worried about the fashions today. I don't think they're good for your feet. And I'm so worried about the shows on TV that sometimes they want to repeat. I'm so worried about what's happening today, you know. And I'm worried about the baggage retrieval system they've got at Heathrow. I'm so worried about my hair falling out and the state of the world today. And I'm worried about being so full of doubt about everything anyway. I'm so worried about modern technology. I'm so worried about all the things that they dump in the sea. I'm so worried about it, worried about it, worried. I'm so worried about everything that can go wrong. I'm so worried that people aren't gonna like this song. I'm so worried about this very next verse. It isn't the best that I've got. And I'm so worried about whether I should go on or whether I should just stop. I'm worried about whether I ought to stop. And I'm worried because it's the sort of thing I ought to know. And I'm worried about the baggage retrieval sister, they got a Heathrow. I'm so worried about whether I should have stopped them. I'm so worried that I'm driving everyone round the bend. And I'm worried about the baggage retrieval system that got at Heathrow.
Jasmine Quincier, Laura Engstrom, Jules, and Rainy Day. Rainy Day.
Why not?
Ah, it's right there. Hey Trent, come up here for a sec. I got a joke for you.
Oh, good.
Did you hear the one about the photon?
I did not.
The photon was getting on an airplane. They asked him if he had any luggage to check. He said, "No, I'm traveling light." This microphone's way too tall for our next
Joke's 14 billion years old.
leader. All right.
Can I go now?
Yes. Thank you. I needed a straight man for that one. All right. Up next, we have Leticia Cortez with some original writings in her signature style. It says here she's a pro writer for hire.
Yeah,
It's a good thing they put writer in there.
I am. I do translations too, and I write for newspapers.
You want to put that up here on the stage? Might work better. Okay. He's good?
No,
More close? More closer?
I don't know. You tell me.
Okay. Leticia Cortez.
Thanks, Patrick. Okay, this one's called Mask Sadness. What is it? That impulse, there or over there, unnatural as it may be, or natural. Imagining the physical outline of a leaf, its interaction with light and cells, or seeing the totality of the moon as it disappears in this peculiar universe. Before our eyes, an eclipse, or an endless labyrinth of incomprehensible movement that captivates our sight. Then it passes like a lucid dream. I hope you were awake for the totality of the moon recently. The second one is called Shaping the Landscape of Words, or by simply adding a syllable. To go from a word like cadence, full of verses, sound waves, notes, a cacophony of bouncing echoes, a melodic concert to the senses, to a word like decadence, which implies degeneracy or a debauchery of insidious intent, perhaps an ongoing depravity, a vice so immoral and corrupt that leaves one trapped in a self-indulgence which a mere 2 letters added to another word were able to change. Cadence and decadence. Okay. And this, since the Shakespeare reminded me of T.S. Eliot, I'm just going to read a little bit from the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock. Let us go then, you and I, when the evening is spread out against the sky. Let us go through half-deserted streets to muttering retreats of restless nights in one-night cheap hotels, and sawdust restaurants with oyster shells that leads you to an overwhelming question. Oh, do not ask what is it. Let us go and make our visit. In the room, the women come and go, talking of Michelangelo. I was gonna read the entire wasteland, but Jules told me to read that in the bathroom.
Oh, you got more? All right.
Oh wait, there's more.
He's gonna kill me because I went over my 2-minute limit. Anyway, this is for Jules actually. It's an acrostic. Does anybody know what an acrostic poem is?
No, we're stupid.
Besides Tom, who thinks he's Mr. Einstein. Anyway, an acrostic poem is when you write a poem using the first letter of the person's, like in this case, Jules, Jules, to describe him using adjectives, basically. So this is to Jules, jovial being, unbelievably laborious and earnest as he sagaciously creates the Julesworks Follies.
Thank you, Leticia. Greg Turner will perform the midway song of tonight's Follies.
Well, I lost my mind and now my hands are tense, and I spend the time wondering where it went. I want it back, cause I got to live. This twist of fate I cannot forgive, no way. To get it back, there's nothing I wouldn't give. There's a hole in my head where my mind once lived. Now I'm in the dark, nearly all the time. There's no way out when you lose your mind. It's gone away, so far away. Well, looking back, and there's nothing left. Wrong in my head, and I can't forget. I know it well, there's no way out. I lost my mind. It's gone away, so far away. Okay, at this point, we're hitting the Lost My Mind guitar solo. And as always, we look far and wide for the appropriately lobotomized lead guitarist to come up and take the lead. And as always, we're looking around and we see the right person. It's Mr. Edward Van Halen is going to step up and do it. On 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to bend a note now. Okay, here's the introspective part. Now that I lost my mind, I'm so sad it's gone. I'm staring at the wall, I'm wondering what went wrong. I look at my new watch, but hey, I can't tell the time. This is what happens when you lose your mind. And now it's gone away. It's gone so very far away, oh yeah. I guess I lost my mind. Well, I think I lost my mind. Oh no. Thanks. Hey.
Greg Turner. Improv that was not on my list.
Yes, it's another improving improv. If you've been here before, you might have seen it. It's called the Three-Headed Wizard. The Three-Headed Oracle?
Wizard Oracle.
Oh, it was Wizard that one time we had a magic
Oracle.
theme.
The oracular
I remember
wizard.
now. So the Three-Headed Oracle will entertain questions from the audience. And Sylvan, I'll let you take it from here.
Any questions from the audience?
No?
No?
Oracle answer
Anything.
anything.
The Oracle can answer any question at all.
What is that plastic gun they stick in my mouth at the dentist?
Okay.
What's the plastic one?
What the heck is going on Wall Street?
Oh, that's important. Yeah.
Sounds important. So what the heck is going on in Wall Street?
Going on in Wall Street is a whole bunch of horse shit and rich white people who eat horse shit and they chomp on it and they slurp it.
It made Goldman and Sachs even richer, so that's what's happening. That's what's going on.
Which was terribly important because Goldman and Sachs had a huge requirement for prostitutes and cocaine, which couldn't be achieved with anyone else but Obama.
Obama sent the prostitutes and cocaine and horse shit to all of Wall Street with a special delivery sign that said, FedEx.
Is a great place to learn about guns. You can shoot all you want at FedEx because there's plenty to shoot at, and nothing is ever late.
Too soon, said the left part of my brain, but that's okay, because everything is humor.
Humor and shooting all the protesters at the bottom of Wall Street.
And speaking of humor, I guess today Paul Simon was arrested for domestic violence against Edie Brickell.
Because she had stolen all the horse shit off Broadway and Wall Street. And that made Paul Simon really upset, and so he smacked
Her with a big brick.
And pushed her in the shallow water. Let us go now, you and I, while the evening is stretched across the sky.
Shut up, don't let mock me. That's it?
That's all she wrote.
No, I thought it was more questions.
Usually do
Oh,
a
there he
couple.
is. Hey, Andy, you need some setup time?
Yeah.
What kind of setup time do you need?
I don't know, like a couple minutes.
We can do a little song and dance.
I'll
Maybe.
do a song in there.
Oh, okay.
Is there an app here in this?
Yes. All right, stall.
I am stalling.
Stalin? Get him!
Stall. G.
Tommy.
G, my friend, with a G. Once again, reminder for concessions and bar, because you told me to keep saying that on here, so I'm just going to keep saying that.
The raffle!
Oh yes, there's a raffle. There's a raffle, and it's, I believe, $3 for one ticket or 2 for 5. You
Yes.
can win some nifty stuff, from what I hear.
You
I was
won't
gonna
be able to
donate
buy
something,
more
but-
raffle tickets all night. At
forgot.
some point, we are going to do the raffle.
Speaking raffle,
What's that?
what do you win?
Stuff.
All kinds of stuff.
Have a sample. Sample of the magic.
I've got bowling passes.
Ooh.
I've got Greg Turner CDs.
Woo!
And he'll probably even autograph them for you later if you ask him real nice. I've got a Sharpie.
But the Sharpie's not being raffled off.
Aw.
I have no idea what this is, but it's probably a movie. Have you heard of this?
I have
It looks
not.
like a very salacious kind of feature. Anyway, there's a bunch of stuff in there. Tell me if you need more volume. Green light.
Our next performer is no stranger to the Follies. Karaoke master and experimental musician who was rowdy before rowdy was cool. May I present the multi-talented and ever so charismatic Andy Kirkpatrick.
What is lost in love? When tears flows and lies and lies, what's in love and let go?
The man who fell to earth. Andy Kirkpatrick. Well, now that I'm back from my alien abduction experience. Oh no, is he not here? Freedom!
Paging Mr. Sibley.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Mr. Sibley.
Where's that info?
Don't make me skip you.
He was outside.
You got any news flashes, Sylvie?
What?
You got any news flashes? We've got to solve for time.
I got one.
You do?
It's bad.
Okay.
Flash.
News
Tom
flash.
Sibley missing.
Well, look at him.
Steve Ramos.
Tom.
The popcorn you're eating has been pissed in. Film little left.
Aha!
Can I get a mic?
No.
Mike, are you serious? I don't know where the mics went. Andy Kirkpatrick has the mic.
Sorry about that. I had a diabetic episode. It's not
Too
anything
soon,
to
doesn't
do.
matter.
So yeah, it's
Oh,
Shakespeare.
everything he says is too soon.
Right,
I
if you
assure
offend easily or don't parse sarcasm well, leave now. So yeah, it's Shakespeare's Big 450. I've always said if Shakespeare were alive today, he would smell terrible. The insane were once considered divine until they made too much noise. Adam and Eve were the first bilateral flatworms to burrow into an apple.
I didn't get that.
I don't get it either. Inbreeding and DNA are a downward spiral. The Supreme Court ruled that.
Did you
Yes, they ruled yes. No, they ruled that politicians can now get the big bucks for fellatio.
Giving or getting?
Whatever. The Vatican is reconsidering its predator release program. Never take obesity lightly. Some Alzheimer patients just formed a new band called Dementia 5. Let's see. I lost my tongue in an industrial accident, said no one ever. SeaWorld has agreed to close its dolphin brothel. Sharks refer to hemophiliacs as comfort food. The Amazon isn't out of the woods yet. Dolphins have suffered the most from net neutrality. People need to get beyond their irrational fear of torture. The CIA tried to recruit everyone in my high school with a high STD score. Heaven is God's premier religious theme park.
What's the second?
Hell. It's so weird that God looks like us. We must be the shit. Texas is hosting a fertilized Easter egg hunt. The swastika is a fascist fertility symbol. Joan of Arc was all fired up by the English on French soil. Bruce Willis will be starring in Lethal Injection 7. New Mexico milk cartons have abducted cows on them. Tourette's is an unrequited love of language. Fracking is lethal injection without the struggle. I recently used my penis to get out of a speeding ticket. I received stiffer charges. The math prodigy was a problem child. So now I'm going to go over the musical section, since the rest was so entertaining. The tears of a clown when the bodies are found. First I was some shade, now I'm petrified.
I don't get that.
Well, I'm sure I could be a movie star if I could get out of this face. Mars ain't the kind of place to raise your kids. The heads explode, it's cold as hell. Manson in the moonlight, everybody's stabbing everything in sight. It squeals like the worst man. It squeals like the very worst man. Now Contragate does not bother me. Does the drug war bother you? She's a lot like you, the gangrenous type. I feel like baking drugs. Don't say it changes to try to please me. Heaven must have sent you from a butt. more than a stem cell, more than a stem cell to me. Good night.
Fine figuring, everybody. You get me every time. Our next performer is a wonderful, wonderful singer and guitarist. She's also beyond stunning, and but I can say that because I'm also proud to say that she's my girlfriend.
Jed's got a girlfriend.
So please give it up for the wonderful, amazing Laurel Wilson.
Okay, my second time in front of people.
Mike?
Okay. This song is by a friend of mine, and it's called Right Now, for anybody who deals with rough times. Gonna get better, that's what they say. It's gonna get easier, it's gonna be okay. Just give it some time now, give it some space. Just keep going, waiting for your moment of grace. Right now, right now, right now, it's goddamn hard. It takes me, it breaks me, it tears me all apart. And I don't get to leave this place in time. No, I don't get to run away and go. Right now it's hard, and right now is all I know. It's gonna get better, that's right. Get up every morning, face all of the fears. The harder you work, they say, and the braver you are. If you just keep going, someday you're gonna get real far. Right now, right now, right now, it's goddamn hard. It takes me, it breaks me, it tears me all apart. And I don't get to leave this place in time. I don't get to run away and go. Right now, it's hard, and right now is all I know. How many more lifetimes? How many more? How many more moments do I have to live this way? They say just keep fighting until the morning will come. When you can let go, when the pain will just come undone. Right now, right now, right now, it's goddamn hard. It takes me, it breaks me, it tears me all apart. I don't get to leave this place in time. I don't get to run away and go. Right now, right now, right now, it's goddamn hard. It takes me, it breaks me, it tears me all apart. I don't get to leave this place in time. No, I don't get to run away and go. Right now it's hard, and right now all I
Ronald, you're gonna have to do it from sound effects podium, don't you know? All right, we're
Give
gonna
it up for Laurel Wilson.
we're gonna have to try and get along without Nikolai. It's not gonna be easy.
Sadly, Nikolai was a part of this next one, but as you know, he had to leave. So we all hope he's doing okay.
Tom can be Nikolai.
I think he's got it.
I think it's under control, but thank you. Okay. The Julesworks continues its serialized reading of snippets from the BBC radio play version of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Come on, come on.
Last time, our intrepid heroes, Ford Prefect and Arthur Dent, had what only Ford knew would be their last pints at the pub on Earth before they both stuck out their thumbs just in time as the Earth was destroyed in a huge explosion. A ship happened by to answer their call, which only Ford knew was a request for a ride, as Arthur was completely frazzled and off his cool.
Ford, I don't know if this sounds like a silly question, but what am I doing here?
Well, you know that. I rescued you from the Earth.
Oh, yes, and what has happened to the Earth?
It's been disintegrated.
Has it?
Yes, it just boiled away into space.
Look, I'm a little bit upset about that.
Oh, yes, I can understand.
Well, so what do I do?
You come along with me and enjoy yourself. You'll need to have this fish in your ear.
I beg your pardon? What the devil was that?
Listen, it might be important.
What?
It's the Vogon captain making an announcement on the PA.
But I don't speak Vogon!
You don't need to. Just put this fish in your ear. Come on, it's only a little one.
Should have a good time. Message repeat. This is your captain speaking, so stop whatever you're doing and pay attention. First of all, I see from our instruments that we have a couple of hitchhikers aboard the ship. Hello, wherever you are. I just want to make it totally clear that you are not at all welcome. I worked hard to get where I am today, and I didn't become captain of a Vogon constructor ship simply so that I could turn it into a taxi service for degenerate freeloaders. I have sent out a search party. As soon as they find you, I will put you off the ship. If you're very lucky, I might read you some of my poetry first. Secondly, we are about to jump into hyperspace for the journey to Barnard Star. On arrival, we will stay in dock for a 72-hour refit, and no one's to leave the ship during that time. I repeat, all planet leave is cancelled. I've just had an unhappy love affair, so I don't see why anyone else should have a good time. Message ends.
Charming, these Vogons. I wish I had a daughter so I could forbid her to marry one.
Oh, you wouldn't need to. They've got about as much sex appeal as roadkill. And you better be prepared for the jump into hyperspace. It's unpleasantly like being drunk.
What's so unpleasant about being drunk?
You ask a glass of water.
Ford?
Yes?
What's this fish doing in my ear?
Translating for you. Look under Babelfish in the book.
What's happening?
We're going into hyperspace!
Oh, that would be cool to have seen Sonic again!
The book.
The Babelfish is small, yellow, leech-like, and probably the oddest thing in the universe. It feeds on brainwave energy, absorbing all unconscious frequencies, and then excreting, telepathically, a matrix formed from the conscious frequencies and nerve signals picked up from the speech centers of the brain. The practical upshot of this is that if you stick one in your ear, you can instantly understand anything said to you in any form of language. The speech you hear decodes the brainwave matrix. Now, it is such a bizarrely improbable coincidence that anything so mind-bogglingly useful could evolve purely by chance that some thinkers have chosen to see it as the final clinching proof of the non-existence of God. The argument goes something like this. I refuse to prove that I exist, says God, for proof denies faith, and without faith I am nothing. But, says man, the Babel fish is a dead giveaway, isn't it? It proves you exist, and so therefore you don't. QED. Oh dear, says God, I hadn't thought of that, and promptly vanishes in a puff of logic. Oh, that was easy, says man, and for an encore he proves that black is white and gets killed on the next zebra crossing. Most leading theologians claim that this argument is a load of dingo's kidneys, but that didn't stop Oolong Kalufid making a small fortune when he used it as the central theme of his best-selling book. Well, that about wraps it up for God. Meanwhile, the poor Babel fish, by effectively removing all barriers to communication between different cultures and races, has caused more and bloodier wars than anything else in the history of creation.
What an extraordinary book!
Help me write the new edition.
No! I want to go back to Earth again, or its nearest equivalent.
You're turning down 100 billion new worlds to explore.
Did you get much useful material on Earth?
I was able to extend the entry, yes.
Well, let's just see what it says in this edition then.
Okay.
Let's see. Earth, tap out the code. Well, there's the page, but it doesn't seem to have an entry.
Yes, it does. Right at the bottom of the screen. Just under Eccentrica Galambits, the triple-breasted whore of the Roticon 6.
What there? Oh, yes! Harmless! Harmless? Is that all it's got to say? One word? Harmless? What the hell is that supposed to mean?
Well, there are 100 billion stars in the galaxy and a limited amount of space in the book. And no one knew much about the Earth, of course.
Well, I hope you managed to rectify that a little.
Oh, yes, I transmitted a new entry off to the editor. He had to trim it a bit, but it's still an improvement.
Well, what does it say now?
Mostly harmless.
Mostly harmless?
Well, that's the way it is. We're on a different scale now.
Okay, Ford. I'm bloody well coming with you. Where are we now?
Not far from Barnard Star. It's a beautiful place. In a sort of hyperspace juncture, you can get virtually anywhere from here. That is, assuming we actually get there.
What's that?
Well, if we're lucky, it's just the Vogons come to throw us into space.
And if we're unlucky?
If we're unlucky, the captain might want to read us some of his poetry first.
Vogon poetry is, of course, the third worst in the universe. The second worst is that of the Asgoths of Krea, during a recitation by their poet master, Grunthos the Flatulent, of his poem, Ode to a Small Lump of Green Putty I Found in My Armpit One Midsummer Morning. 4 of his audience died of internal hemorrhaging, and the president of the Mid-Galactic Arts Noveling Council survived by gnawing one of his own legs off. Grunthos was reported to have been disappointed by the poem's reception and was about to embark on a reading of his 12-book epic entitled My Favorite Bath Time Gurgles, when his own major intestine, in a desperate attempt to save humanity, leapt straight up through his neck and throttled his brain. The very worst poetry of all perished along with its creator, Paula Nancy Millstone Jennings of Greenwich, in the destruction of the planet Earth. Vogon poetry is mild by comparison, and when the Vogon captain began to read, it provoked this reaction from Ford Prefect. And this from Arthur Dent.
Oh, Fred, old grunt bubbly. Thy mutilations are to me as burned
gabble blotches and learned legend be. Group, I implore thee, my founting turling grounds. And hooptuously strangle me with crinkly bindle wordles, for I will rend thee in the gobber warts with my blurgle crunch and see if I don't. So, earthlings, I present you with a simple choice. I was going to throw you straight out into the empty blackness of space to die horribly and slowly. But there is one way, one simple way in which you may save yourselves. Now think very carefully. For you hold your very lives in your hands. Now choose. Either die in the vacuum of space, or tell me how good you thought my poem was. Will our heroes survive this terrible ordeal? Can they win through with their integrity unscathed? Can they escape without complexity, compromising their honor and artistic judgment? Tune in next month for the next exciting installment of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Attend the Julesworks Follies at the last of each month, mostly Tuesdays, but June will be on the last Sunday to see what becomes of Ford Prefect Arthur Dent, the Galaxy, Hitchhikers, Mindsets, Insight, and White Towels, and much more.